This Ohio Farmhouse. Today I'm going to be walking you through a really simple recipe using your sourdough discard. Those of you who have sourdough in your homes know that sometimes you just need a good discard recipe so that you're not wasting any and you can put all of that good fermented stuff to use. So this is a recipe that I actually put together yesterday for my kids and they completely devoured it and they're asking for more. So I thought I would just bring you along and show you this really quick and simple recipe for pumpkin muffins. So I'm gonna just start out by mixing up all of the dry ingredients first. You just need 2 cups of flour. My 1 cup is actually in the dishwasher, so I'm using my ½ cup here. And I really need to refill my flour container. So I have 2 cups of flour in here. I'm gonna add 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And you're gonna need some salt and some spices. So just a little bit of salt. I actually put a full teaspoon of salt in this yesterday, which was a little bit too much. So I'm going to only put ½ teaspoon of salt in. And let's see, some cinnamon. You're gonna wanna use plenty of cinnamon. I'm gonna put 2 pretty heaping teaspoons of cinnamon. Ooh, maybe not that heaping. You can tell I'm a really precise baker. When I had more time on my hands, I actually really loved baking because of the precision of it. But now that I am a busy mom of 6 kids, really it's just what I can get done in the little amount of time that I have. So I'm gonna put in here ½ teaspoon of nutmeg, and then also just a little bit of pumpkin pie spice. That was about 1/4 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. All right, now I'm gonna just whisk all of these dry ingredients together. And then I'm gonna start adding in the wet ingredients. So the very first thing that I'm gonna put in here is my sourdough discard. And I use about 1 cup of the discard. Set that down hopefully without spilling it. I love finding things to do with the discard that are outside of my realm of pancake making. A lot of times when I have extra sourdough starch, that's my go-to because it's so simple to throw some pancakes together in the morning and serve those up for the kids. It's a fairly healthy and easy breakfast, so we do that quite regularly, but sometimes it's nice to mix it up a little bit, and they were definitely excited about getting something new. All right, so in here I need 3 eggs. And then I need 2 cups of pumpkin puree. And I have what's left over from yesterday. But you want to make sure that you get the 100% pumpkin, that it's not pumpkin pie filling. It's just pureed pumpkin. Where'd my spatula go? So this isn't going to be, this is about a cup worth, and I knew that wouldn't be enough. So real quickly, I'm gonna open this up and get these going. I don't know what it is about this time of the year, but I stay really busy outside all throughout the year, but when it's time to come inside and we're in here doing school every day, the baker in me comes out, and I really love putting together stuff like this. It's kind of a stress reliever for me. Although less relaxing when lots of little helpers want to come in, but they definitely love to be in here too. So Joanna and Chuck are actually gone away on a trip. For those of you that don't know, we do this channel with my sister. We both started homesteads really close together. So they got this really great opportunity to go away for 8 days, and it's a place for people that work for nonprofits or in ministry of some sort. They got to go away to this really beautiful place in Montana, and so they have been there living up their little Hallmark life. And Ben and I kind of shoved them out the door and made them go on this trip. They were questioning whether they should go or not. But we offered to keep their boys for them, so we've had 8 kids this week, so the Muffins disappeared even quicker than normal. So they'll be happy when there's more on the table for them. All right, so I need to add to this just a half a cup of olive oil. You really could use any kind of oil that you have available. You could melt down some coconut oil and use that, or you could use vegetable oil. I really prefer using olive oil. I think it has a little bit more subtle flavor. But the coconut flavor, depending on what you're using, is a really great and healthy alternative. So I have half a cup of that in here as well. I just need to add a little bit of vanilla, which reminds me that I need to add this to my list at Costco, because I think I can make about 3 more things with that. It's gonna be completely gone. I buy these huge containers of it because, man, I think we go through most ingredients really quickly. But I have a whole list of stuff that I definitely need to get replaced at Costco prior to the holidays and all the baking that's coming up. All right, so as far as sugar goes, or some sweetener, I really try to avoid plain white cane sugar as much as I can. But to get the right consistency with this, I did need to add a little bit of sugar. So I'm just using 1/4 of a cup, and then the rest of it I'm going to sweeten with honey. Most of the recipes that you're gonna find on Pinterest or online for muffins like this have at least a full cup of sugar, if not a full cup of white sugar and a full cup of brown sugar. And man, when I looked at that, I thought, there is no way that I'm gonna feed that to my kids and then expect to have any kind of normal or productive day. So we try to stick to honey and syrup as much as we can. So I'm really gonna kind of just eyeball this. But I want 4 tablespoons of honey. All right. I have all the ingredients added in here, and so I'm just going to stir this up quick. You could do this in a stand mixer as well. For something so simple like this, I just did it in a bowl. It's easier than trying to lug that over to the side of the counter so that you can see me well, but I keep it back here behind me. All right. It looks about perfect. You can see what the consistency looks like here. It will definitely drip off, but it's thick. I'm gonna taste it. It's good. All right. Cover my sourdough back up. Because there's still gnats in my house. Can I just tell you, I was looking forward to colder weather only because gnats would be gone from our house. We have so much produce coming in and out of here from the garden and taking out to the pigs and all of these things. And gnats are just kind of inevitable, and I've been putting up with it. But I was really looking forward to them going down and diminishing, but I still have them, and so I'm not super thrilled about it. I need to set out some more traps for them. All right, so I'm gonna move a few things out of the way. These are a really cool thing to invest in. They're not really expensive. I think I paid less than 10 bucks for a whole stack of these, but they're just silicone cupcake liners and really end up saving me a lot of money because we go through a ton of cupcake liners. I was buying like the paper ones, and inevitably they like fold in and they're weird and kind of frustrate me when I'm baking. So I really like these because they stay put and they don't go into the actual muffin. So if you did want to like remove them and use them for any kind of party or anything, the muffin comes out much more like perfect and intact. So I'll throw a link to those if you want to see those on Amazon, but I just ordered them from there. All right, now my kids begged for there to be chocolate in these muffins, and I was out of chocolate chips, but I have a supply of candy bars because my husband serves me well. He brings these back as my stress reliever, I think. Like, please keep your sanity while I'm away. I think that's what he bribes me with, the chocolate. So I'm just gonna chop these up quick and add them into my batter. I actually did have chocolate chips, quite a lot of them actually. I stocked up, and when I went to make these, I went to get the chocolate chips out, and little people apparently devoured them without me knowing. So then I had to resort to cutting up my own chocolate, which works just as well, but I'm not happy that I think there was 3 bags of chocolate chips that disappeared since I purchased them, which is a lot of chocolate chips for probably only a couple of my kids that I know would get into them and eat them. So it's a lot of chocolate. So let's just run a knife through these really quick, and then I will throw them in. We had a taste test yesterday to decide which combination the kids liked the best. Most of them voted that they liked chocolate chips and the streusel topping. My oldest says he just likes the chocolate. So we're gonna make some of each. I'm gonna show you quickly how I made the streusel topping as well. Rather than use my whisk again, I'm going to just use my spatula, because anytime that you're baking, you don't want to overbeat, because that makes for a more dense muffin. So I'm just folding it, bending it over, and folding that in. So the chocolate chips are in there. Okay, I have my oven on and it's set to 350 degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill my muffin liners here with the batter and then throw those in the oven. If you're cooking a traditional sized muffin like this, they need to be in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 to 21 minutes. If you're doing a mini muffin, we did some of those yesterday as well, and those took about 16 minutes. Obviously, all ovens are a little bit different, so I like to set my timer a little bit before and just kind of keep a watch on it. Now, My husband and son make fun of me because I often, when I bake, do not use a timer at all. I use my nose. And so I pay attention to when they smell like they're done. I'm typically right, but there have been times that I haven't been. So just for your sake, it was 16 minutes for the little, 21 for the big. And we're gonna go ahead and get these filled up. Quickly, I'm going to just make the streusel topping for the kids that really want that. So you just need a half a cup of oats, just a little bit of sugar, really, I'm just gonna use like a tablespoon of sugar, and then you need to use cold butter, a tablespoon of that. So you definitely want to get cold butter, and then you're going to cut it in, which just means that you're going to use a fork and kind of break it together until it all combines and gets crumbly. If your butter is too hard to do with the fork, sometimes it's easier to just stick your hand in there and start crumbling it all together and getting that butter incorporated. So you're just gonna take this then and crumble it down onto the top. Give it a good coating. Mine are gonna be a little bit more loaded with this because, like I said, I have one of my kids that doesn't necessarily want the crumbly top. So I have a little bit of extra, but I don't really want to waste it. So the other kids are going to get extra. All right, the house smells incredible, and these are all finished. I'm just going to plate these up, let them cool down a little bit before I call the kids back inside. I sent them out there to play. It's beautiful outside so that I could film this for you without distraction. But this is a really great way to use up some of your sourdough discard. It's a really simple and fast recipe. It doesn't take much skill level or effort at all, and they turn out absolutely amazing. They're really moist, they taste good, they're delicious. So kids are always happy when there's muffins on the table. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week on This Ohio Farmhouse.